Greetings from Advent Christian Retirement Communities, with communities in Vernon, Vermont and Kittery, Maine. I'm Larry Knowles, president of ACRC, here on the Meeting House Village campus on the Maine Seacoast. I'm very grateful to be able to provide this report to the Triennial session and to give you an update on what's been going on the past year. And like the rest of the world, this past year, our communities have labored under the pandemic, particularly at our campus in Vernon, where there are healthcare facilities, Vernon Green and Vernon Hall, nursing home and assisted living, which, if you read the news, you know have been under a special burden this past year. Everything from lockdowns to limitations on movement to restrictions for staff and hyper-regulation have weighed on our operations, affecting everything from resident morale to things like census and operating income and cash flow. But I'm happy to report, notwithstanding all these things, we have done well. Our residents have persevered, perhaps because they come from a generation more resolute than recent ones. They have been valiant. And I'm happy to report that in this past year, Meeting House Village has had one case of the coronavirus, and Vernon Home, where you might not expect it because of a nursing home and assisted living facility, has had none. This is a remarkable accomplishment by Brad Ellis, Executive Director in Vernon, and his staff, and it's a testament to their hard work as well as the grace of God. Something else to share. Despite the hovering cloud of the pandemic this past year, we have continued to pursue our vision for a greenhouse community on our Vernon campus. If you don't know what a greenhouse is, it is a model of 24-hour nursing care, very different than the traditional nursing home that most of us are familiar with. Instead of the corridors and the lights and the sights and the sounds of your typical clinical nursing home, the greenhouse model restores 24-hour care to a home setting in a building or buildings, matched with a resident-centered model of care. If you'd like to know more about the greenhouse model, just visit our website, where you'll find information, updates on progress, and opportunities for support. What's interesting is that we have pursued the greenhouse vision this past year against all odds. It's been counterintuitive, and by that I mean, who pursues a major innovation in the middle of a pandemic? Common sense says you hunker down in survival mode, as have most senior care providers, understandably. But just as our forebears 100 years ago pursued the vision for the original Vernon home in the middle of a pandemic, so we too have felt compelled to pursue the greenhouse vision against all odds at such a time as this. As I end this report, I simply would like to say that we're grateful. We're grateful for being sustained in this ministry for 100 years. We're grateful that during that time we've been able to provide what we call a legacy of grace, incarnating the grace of God through our three core values: care that is superior, creative, and generous. We're grateful for the ability to help Advent Christian pastors and missionaries whose income isn't sufficient to cover the cost of care and residency. We're grateful for our affiliation with the Advent Christian Church. We're grateful for our prayer supporters, the Nehemiah Circle, and our financial supporters, the Barnabas Circle. Lastly, we're grateful to God. You know, it was in meeting houses and churches around New England and the rest of the country where steeples were raised. I like to think they were constructed symbolically. They rose high and they came to a point as if to draw attention to the glory of God. I think that's a fitting symbol for our communities, because it's Christ, in whose name we serve, who provides, protects, directs, and even transforms us here in this ministry that He's sustained these 100 years. Thank you for the privilege of sharing with you, and grace be with you all.